Now after evaluating the diaphragm, we should move on to the pulmonary vasculature. So basically the lungs are supplied by the pulmonary arteries and drained by the pulmonary veins. So the central most vessels or the inner the zones are mainly constituted by the hilar vessels, which are central pulmonary arteries. Then we have middle third, which have further branching, and the outer third of the lung has got vessels, but in a normal chest X-ray we don't see vessels in the outer third of the lung. The outer third of the lung does not show vessel on a normal chest X-ray. Of course, there are many cardiac conditions and many conditions when vessels can be seen even in the peripheral third of the lungs. And in normal, vessels should not exceed 3 mm in diameter in the first intercostal space. And there are other measurements, like diameter of the descending branch of the right pulmonary artery is usually 10 to 16 mm in males and 9 to 15 mm in females. This is just an illustrative diagram which shows the pulmonary artery and veins. They form the vasculature of the lung. There are 4 veins, 2 right superior vein, right inferior pulmonary vein, left side also 2 vein, but so total 4 veins, but the arteries are 2, right and left, and there are further branches. Now coming to the hilum. So what is hilum? Actually hilum is mainly formed by the pulmonary arteries. The pulmonary arteries, as they come out of the, they divide from the main pulmonary artery and they supply the lung. So they form a central density. In the center of the lung we see a density that is called hilum, and the hilum is formed mainly by the pulmonary artery and pulmonary veins. Although there are other structures like bronchi and lymph glands, but the main density of this hilum is formed by the pulmonary artery and vein. And there are criteria to say whether the hilum is enlarged or abnormal or not. Like ideally both hilum should have equal size and density. The density of both hilum should be same, and the lateral margin of the hilum should be concave. So if one hilum is enlarged or its outer margin is convex, then we should say that this is a enlarged hilum. The causes may be an enlarged lymph node, or sometimes vessels may be enlarged. And normally the left hilum is slightly higher because the left pulmonary artery goes above the left bronchus. And I told you how we should say that both the hilum is enlarged or not. So basically the both hilum should be equal in size and equal in density, and the outer border of the hilum should be concave. Now coming to the lungs. So lungs to divide, like if we see lesions on the lung, to tell where this lesion is that, so we have an rough division of the lung. We divide the lung into 3 zones. There are lobes. Lobes are different. We don't see lobes on chest X-ray. We divide, like we see right lung, we see left lung. We don't see the lobes actually because the fissures are not seen always. So we divide the lungs in 3 zones: upper, middle and lower zones. I will explain. And anatomically, the right lung has got 3 lobes: upper lobe, middle lobe and lower lobe, because there is an oblique fissure and there is a minor fissure. So there are 2 fissures on the right side. So 2 fissures divide the right lung into 3 parts, 3 lobes, and the left lung has got upper lobe and a lower lobe. A lingular lobe is attached with the upper lobe. So that is not separate. The lingular lobe is actually in continuity with the upper lobe, although it has got a different bronchial connection, but the upper lobe and the lingula are not divided by a fissure. So on the left side we have only 1 fissure. So there are 2 lobes. To see the oblique fissure, we have to take a lateral film. I will just show. This is an anatomical diagram, and it shows the right lung has got oblique fissure and an horizontal fissure. So it has upper, middle and lower lobe. And on the left side there is only an oblique fissure. So there is upper and lower lobe. So this is a lateral view. In the lateral view, the oblique fissure runs from D4 to D5 level posteriorly and anteriorly into the costophrenic, anterior costophrenic recess roughly. and the horizontal fissure on a PA film can be roughly formed by the hilum to the 6th rib laterally in the axillary line. So these fissures are not normally seen, but by knowing the location we can sometimes tell which lesion is lying actually in which lobe. But as I told you, these fissures are not seen. So on a PA film, to tell which lesion is where, we divide the lung in 3 zones. The upper zone is in the upper zone lies above the superior border of the second rib. The middle zone lies between the superior border of the second rib and superior border of the fourth rib, and part of the lung below the fourth rib is in the lower zone. Now coming to the, I have told the anatomy of the lung. Now coming to the tracheobronchial division, the right lung has got 3 lobes, but we have segments. There are further segmentation of the lungs. The right lung has normally got 10 segments and the left lung has got 8 segments. So what are the segments? This segmental, each segment has got a different bronchus supplying it. So the right, we will take the right lung. The right main bronchus first gives off a upper lobe bronchus, and then it continues as a bronchus intermedius. And then bronchus intermedius gives rise to lower lobe and middle lobe. So we have upper lobe bronchus, then bronchus intermedius, then middle lobe bronchus and lower lobe bronchus. On the left side we have only 2 bronchus, the upper lobe and lower lobe bronchus, but the upper lobe bronchus further give rise to upper division bronchus and lingular bronchus. I will tell you how these bronchi further give rise to segmental bronchi actually. See this example, that the trachea, there is a trachea, then it divides into right and left bronchi. Then the right bronchi gives to the upper lobe bronchus, and the upper lobe bronchus gives 3 segmental bronchi: the apical segment bronchi, the anterior segmental bronchi, and the posterior segmental bronchi. So there are 3 segments in the right upper lobe. Then the right bronchus continues as bronchus intermedius, and bronchus intermedius then supplies to the middle lobe bronchus. Middle lobe has got 2 segments, the medial and lateral segment. So there are 2 segments in the right middle lobe. Then we have a lower lobe bronchus. The lower lobe bronchus give rise to 5 segments: apical segment or superior segment, and anterior, posterior, medial, lateral, basal segment. So there are 5 segments in the right lower lobe. On the left side, we have a left bronchi which are thinner and somewhat horizontal than the right bronchi, and then it gives rise to an upper bronchus and lower bronchus. The upper bronchus then further divides into upper division bronchus, and it supplies 2 segments. That there are 2 segments, the anterior segment and the apico-posterior segment in the left upper lobe, and there is a lingular bronchus. There are 2 segments, the superior and inferior segments in the lingula, and then it continues as the lower lobe bronchus. Again, in this case there are 4 segments. The right lower lobe bronchus have 5 segments, but the left lower lobe bronchus has got 4 segments because the anterior and medial basal segment are merged in the left lobe. So we have posterior basal segment, lateral basal segment, and anterior medial basal segment on the left side.